I don't know what it's doing. Hey, Facebook, how you doing? This is Damon Rich, and welcome to another episode of Marriage Refresh TV. It is your boy. My wife will be joining us here shortly, and I got my good sister, Miss Robin Yant, that I'm going to be bringing on the screen here soon in just a moment. But you know how we do. We're going to get into it. Tonight's topic is going to be about the rise of the side chick, rise of the side rooster. What's their story? So hopefully we got all our technical stuff worked out and that we good to go. And if we don't, we'll get it right because we know this gonna be a show tonight. So let me get you with this intro here, real quick, and then we gonna jump into what we got to talk about for sure. All right, as always, my sis is primping and preeming on the live on air. That's how she do it. Let me make sure I get myself on this screen with her, because I am so not used to doing it this way. Oh, hold on. Let me grab this. Let me grab this camera. I forgot. Got the wrong camera here. Oh, where's my camera? Oh my goodness, I know doggone well. Oh, there we go. Monitor, audio, virtual camera on, and make sure I get my camera right. Y'all, this using Zoom is for the birds sometimes. So make sure. Hold on. Why this thing don't want to pull up my right camera now? Oh no, that ain't what I want. I'm coming, sis. I promise I'm coming because this thing don't want me to be great or something. Oh, there it is. There it is. All right. Now I'm good to go. All right. Let me make sure I can check my sound levels, make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to work. Make sure the good people out in TV land can hear. I've been getting a whole lot of follows now here lately. I don't know uh, if that's because people. Oh yeah, I can. They can get me. I've been getting a lot of follows here lately, and so sis, this is a hot topic. I want to give some. Let me put myself in gear. Uh, get my hat together. I'm now fully engaged. No, yeah. No, let me give my disclaimers. Okay. This is the only time that you're going to hear from Pastor Rich tonight, for the most part. Okay. I would like to give a couple of disclaimers tonight. We are not here to bash anyone. We're not here to beat up on anyone. As a matter of fact, we are here to bring healing, love, joy, peace. In the side chicks sometimes get left on the side of the road while they applaud and they get hit by cars and all that kind of stuff. And but we're not here to bash anybody. Matter of fact, let me just lay out a couple of scriptures here rolling down. Sarah was the master of the side chick. She had a side chick for Abraham. There's some side chicks throughout the Bible. Technically, I would say Leah was a side chick, even though they was married. Whatever you want to call it. But we're not here to bash. We're not here to justify. We're not here to run anybody over. But we are here about the truth. We are here about being real. We are here to consider all sides of this equation, all sides of this conversation, so that we can all reach healing, whether we've been impacted by a side chick or side rooster, been the side chick, been the side rooster. I'll share a little interesting story from my own background, what have you, with you tonight. But we legitimately want to have a thought-provoking conversation. Now, some other people might join us. Hey, their views don't necessarily represent my views, don't represent Robin's views. Robin's views don't necessarily represent my views, and my views don't necessarily represent hers. But that's okay because we're here to have a healthy, honest, open dialogue. Now, if you want to drop your questions or your comments, feel free to do that. Stay respectful, stay kind. If you have a question, you can hit us on the DM even while we're online, whether you want to hit Robin up, you want to hit me directly. My lovely wife should be joining us. She's on business travel. She's doing her thing, but she hopes to join us as well in this episode. But we may have some guests, joiner buyers as we get into this. And so we just want you to enjoy. So that's the end of my disclaimers. And we're going to take the gloves off and we're going to be real. We're going to be raw. We're going to be relevant. All right. Okay. Now, uh, let's get it. Let's get it. Oh yeah, see, Pastor have to wear his hat forward. But this we're not against rap. We're not against rappers, but we are against those thugs. And this thug gonna show up tonight to talk about this topic. Sis, I got so many questions, thoughts, ways I want to come at this. And I know you've been doing your homework, you've been doing your thoughts, and you went live the other night, and some people had some questions. So hopefully you went back and picked those things up so that you can bring some of that in. But I definitely have some thoughts, and I thought we would start with this. I always like to start academically to a certain degree, and that academic is let's define a side chick or a side rooster. Because I put something like this, right? I think that there is a difference between a casual affair, an affair that happened, one night stand or something like that, or um, maybe even to an infrequent booty call. But then to me, the side chick is a whole nother, the side rooster is a whole nother level of the game. So I want to make sure that we define what we're talking about. And I'm open to your definition, and I give you my thought if we fall. What you think? What's your definition of a side chick? How you say it?
Well, I would say my definition of a side chick is a with a man that the probability is knowingly that he has a family, all right,
Mm-hmm.
and the probability of him becoming is probably very high.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, wait a minute, before we go there, I think that we have to say is a side chick. And a side chick if the person that they're messing with isn't married.
And see, I was gonna
So
get
long
into
as
that.
they're single, I think you got to do that up front.
I agree with you that because see, when you threw in know they got a family and all that, I think there's maybe two levels to it. If someone is in a committed relationship and you're the other woman or you're the other man, I think that that probably classifies as side chick level two. Level one, meaning top level side chick, is the side chick or side rooster who is engaging someone that they know are married, whether we can call marriage or family, whether they have kids or not, but they know that that other person is legally in a covenant relationship. Then that's to me side chick level one. Because I look at it this way, and the rules have changed about this dating stuff. If you're dating. I've heard. I think it's even maybe even Pastor Mike Todd. He said something about if you're dating, you're still single. You know what I'm saying? Just like let's say,
I agree. If you dating, you single.
right?
That means you could date on the date, which means you ain't a side chick. You just wanted the pieces.
You just one of the pieces. So if we want to hone in and focus in on someone being, but you are I shared that one song a friend shared with me. I laughed about it. I was like, boy, that is the craziest song ever. So if we want to stick to defining side chick, I think we're trying to find that definition as the other man, other woman who is messing with someone that is already properly spoken for or in a covenant. Is that what we're going to use for our definition tonight?
I would say so because I mean we all have different beliefs, but I'm almost somebody said that tricking. Right?
Oh
All
well,
right.
I give them that.
You give them that? Okay, we give you that. So, but what I want to see is, are we on Facebook now? Because people inbox me like, what time it started?
Oh, we on
Can
Facebook
you
Live.
share my page? Did you share tag my page?
Let me do that right now. Let me do that right now.
Because yeah, I think it has to be defined as married. Because if you're single and
Right, right. I
You
think
don't
some
become
people.
a side. It's a main dish. Like y'all don't just none of y'all the mains.
Right. What is your
That's just
Facebook page, ma'am?
Robin in.
Why it ain't coming up? Cause I'm trying to show enough shit on Robin Yen. And,
Oh,
and yo,
somebody said I'm live. Oh, okay. Thank you, Bama.
uh oh. He ain't gonna be doing Jermaine like that. He ain't gonna be doing that.
Somebody know he the OG Bama.
Oh my goodness. Go ahead. Keep saying what you're saying. Keep saying what you're saying.
So I think for the purposes of this conversation, um, you gotta be married. We talking about side pieces to a main dish.
Okay,
All
side
right, is
pieces too.
everybody else that for this tonight's conversation? So in other words, you are when you're in a relationship is free game, still you're single. At the end of the day, if you're in a committed relationship, that's just my belief. I think you're still single.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's a different level of expectations. I mean, that's not, you're not in having tied your life together. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
sometimes they been done did that now. Sometimes they been done did that.
That's a whole nother conversation, Damon.
Okay, okay, okay.
I
Uh,
think so.
yeah. No, 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 no. I get you. I ain't.
That's what I'm saying for right now. I think for the purposes of the conversation, it's married. Now, if the people who are not married apply for this what we're talking to because it fits your situation and you feel like this is like I'm not married, and I understand because some people y'all really are married. The only thing you don't have is a piece of paper.
Right,
I'm
right.
telling you, when you go before the Lord, that's what's different. I'm just
Okay.
saying.
Well, I will say this. I will say this. It does. I will say this only in the dating context. It is what you agreed to. If y'all looked at each other and say we're exclusive, there are no other
Okay.
people. If y'all made a
Okay.
statement, I mean, I'm not talking about because ladies, y'all subject to do this. I figured we was exclusive since you was always screwing me every night, right? Now I ain't talking about no assumptions.
Yeah.
Exclusive, right?
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I can take that.
if
I can
y'all
take
have
that.
agreed that you're exclusive, then I think that yes, the side chick analogy can come into play. And Robin, they say you
Okay.
sound distorted, and you do sound a little bit garbled on my end, but
I mean,
yeah, they say
because
you
I don't want y'all to miss none of my words tonight.
sound.
So what we need to do?
uh,
Do I need to sign out? Because I'm signed in 2 times.
you might need
Like
to.
I see myself in the screen 3 times.
That might be the thing.
Okay.
That might be the thing.
Okay. Let me sign out. I'm gonna come back and let me.
All right. Yeah, I do have you in here like 3 times. Let me kick your other one out.
Is that better?
Hold on. Why is it? Okay. Now I'm getting feedback. Hold on, sis. This ain't gonna work for me. Don't cut up with me. Hold on.
These lines I want this to be great tonight. But I hear you, Doc, and love you. You say I ain't figuring ish. Let's say what it is because I don't want to be guessing or assuming nothing. I absolutely. But you know what? Women don't do that a lot of times. Y'all, I mean, we just get in and we start seeing somebody. Okay, if you think when you start seeing people,
Yeah, it sound like yeah, sis. It sound like you speaking through a fan or something. Or I'm speaking through a fan. Some that is. Yeah, it's saying they. Somebody said they can't understand what you're saying. Like you going in and
oh wait, I got a fan on. Maybe that might be it.
out. Come on now. Come on.
I be having personal summers. Is that better?
Yeah, they say your Say now they don't hear you at all. Yeah. See, now we ain't gonna have this. I know what I'm finna do. I'm finna do something. I'm finna do something else. Hold on, just a minute.
Okay.
You on your computer?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm finna do something. Y'all wait. See, that's a good thing. I love technology, and I'm a technology.
He's talking about we on Facebook and YouTube as well, so y'all people on Instagram can hear me clearly and hear him, but they having some feedback on his end, so he about to switch this up just a tad.
Yeah.
But dark and lovely, I completely understand. People do not know how to date. You know what? We should just do a whole show about truly how do you date?
Oh, I'm down for that one now. I'm down for that.
Like, what does dating look like? Because everybody want to be quick to be talking about, oh, I'm ready to get married. Listen,
No, you ain't.
cut it down.
Stop all them lies.
Stop all of them lies. It sounds good.
When you say it.
Uh,
God dog it. Hold on. I'm trying to get my thing up. Cause I'm gonna send you something. You say you at your computer?
yeah.
Okay.
You sending it to my email?
Yeah, I'm gonna send something to your email as soon as I can. As soon as I can find it. Scenes. Oh Lord. Yeah. All right. Window interview.
Hey, Queen T. Hey, Auntie J. Who else over here? Nisha, that's me. They might have to join your IG because it was hard to hear you on Facebook. He working it out right now. I don't know what's going on with that, but we about to get into it. Don't let us not be great tonight.
Oh, don't let us. Don't let us. All right, sis.
Hey, Claude.
Hey, man.
Hey, sis.
We just getting started, but we having um this quick technical difficulties that I promise you this finna be resolved. I just need to know, sis, when you get this link, you should be able to just click on it.
Okay.
And I know I got there it is. Hey honey, I'm finna send you the same link I'm sending Robin, and you should be able to use it.
Oh, okay.
So that y'all can, and let's see if we get a better outcome that way.
Oh, was it bad?
It was choppy. Like when Robin is talking, it's choppy, and I don't know why. Yeah.
Did I want me to be great?
They want you to be great tonight, sis. I just sent you a link. You should be able to hit that link.
All right, let me see. All right, so leave this one.
Yeah, leave Zoom and then come to this link. You know I got all kind of tricks. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, that picture made me look light and bright.
Yeah.
So I can exit out of Zoom now?
Yeah, you should be able to come out of Zoom and then hold on just a minute before you leave Zoom. I'm just trying to make sure I get everything. We so sorry, people. Cause we ain't had none of these problems last week. Now it wanna cut up. I ain't with it. None. And now this mess around because it's telling me it's bringing you on, but then it's not giving me what I need. Okay. All right. Now let me go back to my camera. There we go. Let me get. Is your camera on?
Yeah, I can see myself.
You can see yourself? Well, why I don't see you on the screen? Oh, let me bring you out the green room. Lord help me. Ooh, Jesus, help me. Be a battle in the wheel in the middle of the wheel.
I'm talking about, honey. Oh, OG. I mean, I'm talking about OG, honey. IG ain't got no problems.
I don't
Oh,
know.
hey, Dick.
Oh, I don't know what in the world going on here. I ain't gonna be having this. I sure don't want to have to shut down this doggone broadcast and come back, but let me see what it's doing.
First of Alabama, I have an Apple and an Android, so I ain't got no problem with that right there. Somebody put black meat on cheese.
Oh Lord, here we go with that nonsense. Here we go
Here
with
we go.
that.
We
That
ain't
would,
even entertaining nonsense. That's straight nonsense.
yeah. Why am I
That's
not?
just like me saying black meat. Now I ain't biased now. I'm hey, I'm on the side of right. So yeah, the women and the men can get it tonight.
Lord help me. Why y'all not? And you say, Yank, you say it's showing you. You got
Yeah,
the
it's showing
camera
me
and
the camera.
everything.
I had to allow it, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm at the bottom.
Oh,
That's why I said it looks so clear.
oh, okay. I got you. There it is. Okay.
Praise the Lord.
Guest in the green room. There it is. You can leave what you call it.
Okay.
There you go. Ah. All right. There you go. Now I need to get me on the screen. Can I hear you? Oh.
Can you hear me, Tess?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Now I got to get Tamika on the green screen,
Okay.
and we should be good to go. But it's definitely having a
Don,
difficult.
let me tell you, do not entertain Magodi or Magadi on this IG feed tonight. Don't do it to yourself, cause don't do it to yourself.
All
I'm
right.
telling you now.
Can y'all still hear me? Okay, now I'm there. Now I'm just waiting on Tamika. Oh, there go Tamika. It's just taking a minute. It's just taking a minute. It's taking a minute. All right. So
I got
we,
notes because I didn't want to forget.
yeah, my wife should be popping up in a minute. So let's go in. So we done set the definition. We done set the
Yep.
definition. We done said that the um we done said that the definition there is that you are either you're married or you are in a committed relationship. That it has been established that you're in a committed relationship. That's what we have said, right?
In it- Yes, in an exclusive committed relationship.
Exclusive committed relationship.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's our gonna be our definition. Is okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. That's where we at. An exclusive committed relationship. All right. That's the definition. Everybody good with that definition? Can y'all hear Robin clear, loud and clear right now? Because I want to make sure if you can't hear, I don't want no nonsense. Just let us know. Make sure we can still hear Robin loud and clear. And let me go on and end this Zoom meeting. That's probably part of the problem. All right. So we should be, babe, you should be able to show your camera because I'm showing you in the feed you and I took you out of the green room.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. I just can't see you, but
Oh,
I can hear you.
I I'm trying to see. It was showing me earlier.
Yeah,
Let's see.
it showed when you first clicked on that link. It might have asked you permission for your camera, and if you didn't hit it,
Hmm.
then
I said yeah. I said yes. Yeah.
okay. So we'll give you a minute. So here go the thing. So in a committed relationship, so I got questions. I got a whole bunch of questions when it come to this. So we define side chick, side rooster. I'm gonna just share this story for myself. This when I was a young man. This was before I was married. So y'all make sure before you run tell that it was before I was married. Um, that for whatever reason I always had the older women, whatever. That became my thing. I don't know why. But so one lady is just a one night stand. She was married, her husband had messed around, she was just looking for revenge sex. I was happy to oblige. I was young, dumb, didn't know no better. For me, it's just a hit. Another chick, kind of the same scenario, but it took her a while to work up the nerve. And then she had called him like the weekend before, and she like, you know what? I'm finna do it, right? And so we did whatever. Both times was only a one night hit. I don't think I was a side dude because I wasn't entertaining anything beyond that, right? So that's why it's important to get that thing. Now the dudes might have felt different about it, but I didn't feel outside dude because I wasn't providing no extra favors, no extra time. The only time I invested was a time long enough to get where I was going, and that was pretty much it, right? So how y'all feel? Is there a distinct difference? Does it have to be this repeat engagement with somebody, or is one time enough to be classified?
Repeat engagement. One time is just to hit it and quit it. That's a. I mean, you know what I mean. That's a stick and jam. So
Okay, stick in jail. Okay, okay, cool. All right. I'm just trying to make sure we keep going and making sure we got the right definition of what we talking about as we move forward
yeah.
and stuff. Um, Now, here's my other part to that. When I start thinking about, I ain't whatever the hidden the jam and whatever you just called it. Um, so here's my thing. So that hit and quit it thing is not the that's not the side chick. It is that repeated keep going situation that would classify someone as a side chick. Okay. So I have a question. And I might be jumping way too deep. And if I need to back up, when side chick, side rooster strike, what message is it sending into whom? What's the message in that? When
What's
side
the
chick,
message?
yeah, what's the message? When side
What you
chick
mean?
strike. So I think what gets missed a lot of time, and this where round of applause, round of applause. And I ain't talking about golf claps. I'm talking about them showing up like you church clapping. They applaud when a side chick or side rooster strikes. What do we think? What is being said without being spoken? Through the actions, through the fact that there is that repeat engagement. What is being said without anything being spoken? And who is it being spoken to? And who is it really being spoken by?
I don't know. You done lost me on that. I mean,
I'm
if
gonna
I
give
think
you
I can answer, if I think I'm understanding, you're saying when the side chick comes into play, what message is the side chick sending?
what message is being sent to all the parties involved. Whether that's the hey babe, there you go. All right,
I just went out and came back in.
cool, cool. So what is the so what message? So I'm gonna make it real plain. I am gonna make it real plain. I
Yeah,
believe
because my people on IG like they ain't understanding either.
okay. I believe that when a side chick shows up on the scene or a side rooster, they are telling you that something is missing from your the fact that they could get there for the repeated engagement is telling you that something is missing out of your relationship. There's a message.
Well,
Huh?
yeah, okay. Well, I agree. I agree that if so, there is something wrong, right? But I don't think that it necessarily has to be something missing from the household, like with the wife or the person. It could just be that the man is searching. It could be something missing with inside of him or inside of her.
Ooh, I didn't say who it was. That's why I said who's the message from and who's it being spoken to. See, that's why I'm trying to get to everything, right? because and I might have jumped off in the deep end of the pool is that message I think could, like you said, it could be something that's in her or him, the side chick or the side rooster. But it also could be, well, if your spouse entertained them, I'm not saying it's true, but it could be that your spouse at least feels that there's something you're not providing. Right? I'm not saying it's true and accurate. I'm
Okay, well let me say this. Let me say this if I can.
go
So
ahead.
I think that the approach has to be defined because I think side chicks come about in so many different ways, right?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you a short story. I was getting my hair done a couple years ago, and this lady said that she's been after this man for so long, and she could not wait till she caught him at a weak moment. Now,
mm,
this man was just going by his own little way. He was married, but that woman wanted that man.
mm-hmm,
So these are the side chicks that I got a problem with. Okay, when you start to target a man because it's something that you want, now that's one. You just got some low down men and women. One, the man ain't have to do nothing. It may not be nothing missing, but something may be missing on that other side because they just want it, right?
right,
The
right.
second way fried chicken come into play is there is a problem in the household that you know what I'm saying, that takes the man or the woman's attention away where they can get distracted. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
So it may be something that the wife or the husband not fulfilling. It could be something missing. It could be the man is just a conqueror. Like he just want to get out there and play. Ain't nothing wrong. His whole life together. Like you know what I'm saying? Or her whole life together. But they just somebody said on here, they careless and they greedy.
mm.
So I don't necessarily think it always got to be some deep internal
I ain't, you ain't hear me use no absolutes
oh,
now.
okay,
I ain't
okay,
saying no
okay.
absolute, but you exploring all of the realms, right? No, you
Right.
exploring
So,
all the realms because I think sometimes people want to miss the other parts of it. And it's so much easier to just chalk it up to he a bad dude and she a bad woman. It's so easy to go that route and not say, and listen, I want y'all to understand. I am not I am not blaming anyone because I'm this way. I don't care if your spouse came home and beat you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is not an excuse to cheat because you had another option. There's a reason you chose that option. You had another option, right? And that
yeah.
option was to leave or whatever. Because if they beating you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you couldn't possibly thought that it was gonna get better once they found out you was cheating. You know, um, so I'm not saying that it's ever anything that a spouse can do to warrant cheating, right? That ain't even on them. But I am saying that sometimes it's easier to just blame the other person and blame the side chick or the side rooster and not address the messages, I call them messages, that are coming by way of that particular or what's going down. That's all I'm trying to push is in what are those messages and how do we address those messages. And I agree with you, there's different classes of it because like
Right.
a friend of mine said this, some people are side pieces because they don't want the responsibility of being the full-time person. They don't want the responsibility of being the main dish, but they
I know
want the
that's right.
benefits of being the side dish. I ain't got to be the main attraction, right?
Right.
What IG over there saying? What IG over there saying? You looking hard.
No, I was just they because they commented. So somebody said a lot of married people don't it's respect the marriage vows anymore. Somebody said trifling ass roosters. Uh, oh, somebody said careless and greediness. On I guess you know why somebody
Both sides.
would get us. Yeah, so I was just reading some of the comments. That's just some of them.
Okay. So I'm just saying is, or maybe I should have posed the question: are there messages that are being sent? Right? You know my saying. I said it last week. In this cut both ways, but I'm gonna just use the man version of this statement. don't send a hungry man out into a buffet world. Now, a friend of mine say he saw a meme the other day that was hilarious to me. He said, don't send a man out hungry and horny because there's a hole with a sandwich. I say, well, Lord have mercy. Uh, that that's a whole other ball game right there. There's a hole with a sandwich, but um,
I
what
think that goes both ways. Don't send a
Yeah, I was
woman out
about to say.
without attention, because you know what's gonna be out there for her?
an entertainer?
Into some entertainment
Mm-hmm.
and some fulfilling and some
Oh,
fulfillment.
and so I just want to make sure when I say something, because I don't want people to walk away from this. That man just beating up on women. I'm just saying it because I'm a man from a man's perspective. That does not mean it only applies to men. So
Right.
it cuts both ways. It absolutely cuts both ways.
That's why men sits here.
Oh, that's why y'all here. I, so I got a different question for you. What does the side chick get right or the side rooster get right that maybe the spouse is getting wrong? Maybe that's a different way to ask it.
What is the side chick getting right that the main chick getting wrong?
Maybe getting wrong.
I think it
I mean,
depends. You have to ask the man. What does he think in his opinion? Because we can say several things, and to us it may not be, but it could be to him because he could be like, "Oh, well, you don't do this, and I don't feel like you meet this need," and then she'd be like, "Oh, it'd be like, oh, I thought I did, or
Mm,
you didn't express that."
mm,
I think that's a load of crock if you ask me. Because it's easy for a side chick to be applauding and to be easy and to be, pleasant and to be sexy and to be all that because they don't got no responsibilities. They not with this Bama every day. They don't have to take on the bills, the children, no medical issues, the family. They don't have to do none of that. All they gotta do is be enjoyable when that man come around. So y'all be falling, whether you're a chick or a rooster, y'all be falling for some smoke and mirrors because that don't really be what it is. Because when them people got to deal with you full time, man, that's a different animal.
mm.
So,
Okay.
talking about what is missing, they because men want you to be pleasant. I'm speaking from a woman's standpoint and
Mm-hmm.
talking to a lot of women. When you're married, your husband, a lot of times, husbands, check me if I'm wrong, but husbands want wives to be on point all the time.
Nope. Disagree.
Well, where's some other men on here?
Yeah, I would love some other men.
Right. And when you say on point, Robin, thing all the time.
Uh oh. Y'all
Well,
hold on.
I'm just
Y'all keep going. Keep going.
I'm just saying, take for instance, you talk about sex, right? And a lot of people say marriage can get
Mm-hmm.
dry in sex, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the side chicks and roosters, it don't get dry because they ain't exhausted. Man, you be exhausted when you got all of them duties at the house.
Mm,
Right.
mm, mm. Woo.
Right. And that's to say that the side chick or rooster is like that single woman or the person that don't have responsibility because it could be somebody that has, responsibilities as well and then they go, "Hey, because of whatever reason, brokenness or whatever you want to call it, hey, this is my break away from that." He's going, "This is my break away from that." And they come together going, "Oh, well, we both fulfill each other or we're both getting away from our situations or crazy we're not communicating or dealing with at the time to get this moment of relief or a moment
Yeah.
of whatever we think it is."
Because I want to point that out. All side chicks ain't single. You brought up
No,
a good
all
point.
side chicks are not, but they don't have to carry the baggage, is what I'm saying.
No, I
They
get it.
don't have the
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. They don't have the history. They don't have the responsibilities. They don't have to keep nobody accountable. Like I mean,
Mm-hmm.
shoot, that side chick sound real good.
Rick said side chicks have duties as well. I'm gonna put it up there one more again. Rick said side chicks
Oh wow.
have duties as well. I sure
Is
am.
that right?
That's
What
what I'm
duties
gonna
do
put up
they
there.
have?
Rick gone and bring the thunder. They have
To
duties
be
too.
ple- to be pleasant and to be available when the men or the women want to be available.
Hold
To
on.
not to do what them wives doing at the house.
What are the wives doing? Hold on. Deborah say if they are discussing the relation, huh? What?
I said working.
Uh, if they are discussing the relationship, the chick or the rooster usually feeds off of that and does what they think is lacking. Absolutely, Deborah Wright. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That is one way
Yeah,
in. Is that
absolutely.
and you given the version of the story that fits your narrative. Because
Hmm.
your significant other ain't there to tell the other side of the story.
Right.
Your significant other ain't there to tell the other side of the story. So what I'm looking at is see this where I'm concerned because I there's somewhere I want to definitely get in this conversation uh, that is there. I said it started at the beginning. I'll say it again. It is easy. It is easy to just blame um blame the side chick or the side rooster without exploring. Because so one of the things that we run into at Marriage Refresh, we deal with infidelity a lot, and so in dealing with infidelity, there are messages being sent through the act of infidelity. It's the wrong way to communicate those messages, absolutely, but there are messages being sent. But it is easier. Matter of fact, I wrote one of my term papers at school on can an affair save your marriage? That's a whole other topic. We ain't even got time to unpack that one because there's some yes and some no. That ain't the way about going about saving your marriage, but your marriage can actually come out stronger on the other side of an affair. And there's some stuff to some studies around that. Don't you squint at me like that. Don't you squint at me like that this year. Yeah, keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Um, so what what I look at in or what I guess what I'm trying to bring up or address or that I look at is that there are some messages and sometimes that thing is and I want let me say this up front. I 100% agree that the side chick, even if she is a wife and it's a married man, married woman meeting up and they each other side piece, there are some responsibilities that they don't have to deal with. There are some consequences that they even help create in their own home that they don't have to deal with when they're with the other person because those same set of circumstances don't exist. I 100% agree. But let me go on the side, Rooster side. If you got a husband that quote unquote work all the time and ain't listening to you, but this Bama over here, I mean, that Rooster, I mean, this fine, upstanding gentleman is listening. Because usually affairs for women don't start with sex. They don't necessarily start with sex. You what you gotta say about that, Ed? You shook your head.
I'm just saying they don't. They start with somebody listening to you.
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
Hmm.
okay. I just want to make sure. So for women, usually affairs don't start with sex, and here go the surprise. Usually affairs for men don't start with sex either.
I agree.
They don't. Both of them start with a different type of applauding. The applaud that the rooster gives is, girl, I'm listening, I'm paying attention, I love your mind, this, that, and the other. And the thing that for the man, girl, man, I appreciate you. I know your wife don't. I told you in the top 5 national anthems, what's that? Mary J. Blige and Lil Kim, I can
Mm.
love you better than he
Better
can.
than he
See
can.
that? Then yeah, then she can. So
I mean, yeah, better than
and
she.
but so you got that going on, but then you're sitting in that situation, there are messages being sent right there. You don't listen to
Hmm.
me. You don't appreciate me. And for whatever reason, for some reason, that don't get addressed until the side chick show up.
Well, I agree. I just know that side chicks are they are usually the ones that get hurt. Okay.
Hmm.
So even though they are there for a moment to applaud and to clap and to make
Mm-hmm.
things a little easier,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like people always give side chicks, such a hard time, but usually side chicks are the ones that get the end of the road.
Mm.
Because 9 times out of
Yeah.
10, a lot. Now, I mean, I don't know no statistics, but I would fare on the side of most people do not leave their families for the side chick.
Mm.
Now I know
Right.
in some cases they do, but I'm saying I don't just think that's something that's just all the time.
Mm.
Like,
Right. That's rare.
yeah, and then you end up being, you always sitting and waiting. Like, you got to split holidays, you got to split this, so you're always getting a half of a person.
Hmm.
What
That girl
you
say
laughing about? What is the truth?
that girl say
Oh, it's true.
splitting holidays.
You
Here,
do. Like the wife get Thanksgiving and then you get the day after. I mean, you know.
Right.
Shoot.
It's sad, but it's true. And I always say, hey, for all of those, one, they need to come see me, not for just a hug, but to be part of Blessed Her, because a lot of times women really do not know their value, their worth, and they're so broken to say, hey, I would take this piece of attention or man or moment or whatever, knowing that you can't have him, or assuming or in your mind saying you could when you really can't for a short period of time.
hey,
There is definitely an issue.
hold on. Who is Mr. Rick Cotton? Them your people? We got to send security for him, so he'll be
Uh,
safe.
I mean, I agree with that comment. These side chicks out here, they winning. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all, listen, I'm
Rick,
Really?
giving
I
y'all,
hope you single because you're gonna need security if
Give
you
me
I'm
one
giving
single.
second.
y'all the trophy.
I
Ah,
do.
I'm giving these side chicks the trophy tonight.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing, because I do think, and this circles back to our conversation last week. What is she really looking for? What is he really looking for? And I agree, it's not always this deep emotional. Some people just whores, just they whores. Period. Right? What in the? You done here, man? Girl, I'm finna have to fly to Detroit. Um. So, uh, okay. So some people are just whores. I'm not even talking about that, right? I ain't even talking about that aspect of it. But I'm talking about the ones, like you say, Robin, why do you keep running into this relationship where at the end of the day, it ain't never turned out good for you? You done waited 20 years and that man still ain't chose you.
Somebody on here said that they've known people that have given 25 years to a man and they still be with their wife. And sometimes when they divorce, they still
Right.
don't come
I
be
had
with
to
you.
get my
So,
food.
huh?
Yeah, you had to get what?
Oh,
Who was delivering food?
Huh?
Who was delivering? Don't I?
We
You can
ordered
holler,
food.
you can hear me,
We
girl.
ordered food, and I said I couldn't come back downstairs to get it.
Oh,
no, but
we'll
what I
get
was
this
saying
plane
is
out
that,
of here. Go ahead.
huh? Oh, people, I mean, I think it goes back to programming and boundaries, right?
Uh huh.
So a lot of times, I mean, I talk to people about all types of stuff all the time, and a lot of those men don't even end up with the person that, even if, or women, even once they divorce, the people who was a side chick, you'll wait 25 years, and that man to go and be with somebody he done met 4 months ago.
Hmm.
Right.
Like at the is you I mean, if you don't have any boundaries, then I mean anything can happen. I mean, it feels good in the moment, but I just don't truly think that men respect that. I
Hmm.
mean, that's just, I could be wrong. Some men could be on here. They may give some feedback, but I just don't think so. The second thing is the programming. Like we've been programming for so long about men are going to cheat. Just expect that.
Right. Yes.
Like, I mean, I grew up thinking that. So I was like, hey, you know what? You get one get out of jail free card because I know you're gonna do it. But then after that, I'm gonna start cutting niggas. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm about to start cutting people. Right? But that was because that was programmed in me. And when you don't break a cycle, you will start programming your children, and then that cycle goes on and on to expect that that's what men are going to do. They're going to cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It is how they cheat was the thing that I was taught. Not that they're going to cheat, but it is how they cheat. So do
Right.
you cheat very disrespectfully, as if cheating itself not disrespectful? But are you gonna just cheat all up in the street? Like you finna start making babies with cheating? I mean, come on now. So I think you gotta talk about boundaries and programming. And that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, so last week we was talking about not many fathers, and we didn't get to finish that conversation out, but we were hitting that, and we'll have to circle back because a thought came to me today, and one of the thoughts that came to me is this: is that at some point, like I want us to cover the topic of family secrets. Because I think that there is some level of brokenness and programming. I like the word you
Yeah.
used there. I do think there is some level of brokenness and programming, particularly for women, and definitely even for men. For women, I
Mm-hmm.
think is you got to accept this thing, right? And for men, it's you've got to be this thing. You've got to be um what society says that you are. You got to be the dog. You ain't. It's a saying amongst men sometimes. It's a sorry dog won't bark, right? And so now you gotta prove yourself by being able to at least pull a woman. But the problem with when you pull a woman, sometimes you mess around and pull one that's more gangster than you, and she gonna press for the full thing. She want it all. So now she ready to get up. But I was taught this, so I maybe taught a little bit different. Is some of the more sophisticated cheaters? They say if you're gonna screw, don't. If you're gonna screw up. Meaning she need to have as much as you got to lose or more if you're gonna screw. If you're gonna do that, you need to screw up. And so that part of the story, that's how men are taught. That's how men
Mm.
are taught. Women will go around behind their emotion. Men trying to, it's a business transaction sometimes, right? So
Right.
I do believe that I think that sometimes when it comes down to that young lady who's willing to, or that even that young man, that there's somewhere I wonder what type of example they had in their own life that perpetuated the cycle. Whether it was watching mama get ran around on several times, watching daddy take you from one woman house to the next home and say, "This is what you got to do." What began your programming to be that side chick? I believe it started way younger. She just grow up and say, "You know what? I want to break up people happy home and be the scourge of the earth." Because whether we like it or not, double standard, the woman who cheat and is the side chick and the man who's the side chick are perceived completely different by society
Right.
altogether.
And you say a break up a happy home when it's presented to her, the home isn't happy, or that's what
Yes,
she perceives it to not be happy.
I, I, that's true.
Right.
That's true.
Because when she talked to the guy, oh this and oh that, and either my wife not doing this, not doing that, and sometimes, hey, they cool enough, or the woman is broken enough, they don't even have to tell you what their wife is not doing or paint that picture. They're just giving you the attention that you wanted and craved, so they never mention that, and they can get everything from you just from that, from from showing you that attention.
Ooh, Lakeitra said they won't marry a whore, but will risk losing their family for one. Lord have mercy, girl. Gone. We gonna pass you the offering plate. Um,
All right, Barbara. Ah, that is so true. And I just want to say this too, just to comment on that. That whole thing about women and men are perceived differently. That's back in the day. Like this a whole new culture right now. And women are almost the same, well, like perceived on the same playing field. Women don't have that stigma like they used to. That's just in my opinion.
mm,
Really?
I think
I don't
women
think
still.
so.
I
I don't
think
think
women.
so.
I think women own. So statistics will tell you that women cheat as much as men. Y'all ain't caught up. Y'all caught up, right? I want to be equal to men. You there. You done caught up in one area. You cheat the same rate. But right, how society looks at a woman, a woman can sleep with 100 men and only can produce one seed at a time. A man can sleep with 100 women and produce 100 seeds, right? But that's seen, particularly in our community, that's somewhat seen as admirable. They'll rate the woman of how you kept laying down for him instead of saying how you kept laying down with all these women. So I do think that society still has. I think the stigma. I agree with you. I think the stigma is fading away some, but I think that the stigma is still is. I don't know if the stigma is completely gone.
I
And
think women just don't care no more about no stigma. That's what I mean. Like before,
well, now that
yeah,
might.
yeah, you were so concerned about being viewed as a hoe or a slut or a thought, but in
Oh,
this
okay.
time, these women don't care about that.
Well,
No
I'm
way.
gonna say this.
It's even
I agree
applauded.
with you
I
on
was
that.
listening to something the other day. I was like, oh wow, when do we start applauding and being a thought and all these kind of different names? And I was like, are you serious?
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah. They
Wow.
they okay with that. I'm a, listen. That song I played earlier, or I was
But
telling
I
you about
still
earlier.
say there's an issue. They seem okay, but there is still a lot of brokenness there. And I think they're okay or they can live through it. But as the creatures that we are created to be and who we are, at the core, emotionally, that plays a big part on you. And you think you can handle something that you really, really can't.
You really, really can't.
You
And
can't.
that leads us to these side chicks rising up and getting out of these side chick places. We
Oh,
don't,
a side chick got a place.
absolutely, she got a place on the
Oh,
side, in the background, hidden, a secret. Shh, shh, shh.
so hold on. So you saying you'll be okay with the side chick long as she stay in her place? That's
No,
like
no,
a
no, no.
concubine or something, ain't it?
I'm just saying that there's this is already a traumatic situation for all parties involved. And as a side chick, I believe that you really need to acknowledge your place. The same thing for me, Deborah. The same thing for me. I think you need to be real with yourself and acknowledge like what this situation truly is.
Right, right. I,
That's all I'm saying.
Deborah brought up a painful point here. What about the man that's got a side rooster? He married to a chick, but he got a side rooster. And the chick that's got a side chick,
Wow.
married woman that's got a side chick. That's real. It ain't
You
always
mean the
you
man?
with the other
You mean the
side.
man got another? You mean the man got another man,
Yeah,
and the woman got another woman?
yeah.
People do that all the time.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying. I had in this whole discussion, I hadn't thought about that. That you have the
Oh,
heterosexual relationship, but the side person is the same sex as the person that's stepping out. So the husband stepping
Deb,
out with a dude.
Deb, let me tell you, I'm not prepared for that conversation right now today. Cause I'm telling you, I'm gonna leave that one alone. Cause I'm telling you, just y'all put some money on, y'all send me some of my books. Who? I'm for
Hell
real.
no.
That's an absolute. That's disgusting.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay. Okay. So the song by the
But it
Soul Children,
happens.
I
the
know what
song
happened. I'm just saying that's a lot. That's a lot.
Oh, it's
Oh
a
my.
lot. Yeah.
the song by the
But you know
Soul
what? I
Children.
can't say that because sometimes the woman, when a woman has another woman, then that's like you know what I mean. That's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Erotic. People make that seem erotic.
Right.
But when that man got another man, I just can't. Okay, go on, bro. I'm sorry. And I want to address what Keisha Lakeisha just put on that screen. What she said
Which one? What she said about they're doing these things? This right here. Can you see it on the
about
screen?
authority. Yeah.
Uh huh.
What she mean? They are doing what these men allow them to do. Oh, you mean the women?
Yeah.
And men are
So
making them feel
I
like
have
they have the
heard.
authority.
I have heard. I have heard. Um, a side chick say that basically telling the dude, look, you need to go ahead and address that with your wife and make sure she know her role versus my role. Like, who
Wow.
said that? You don't know that. You don't know if that wife packing. And you want him? Oh, but go check your wife about me. What? What? Girl, you. Hey, that's when you go back to Sarah and what Abraham said. Hagar trying to check me. Ain't she yours? Well, you go deal with her. You know. So I agree. I agree with what Lakedra's saying. Um, Laketra, I'm sorry. Is saying that one is all the way wrong, but then you're gonna allow somebody to basically just feel like they have a place, like the wife is second to me. I'm not second to the wife. The song by the other woman by the Soul Children says, "I'll be the other one woman all your life, just as long as I'm the only one other than your wife." Now,
Mm.
the whole mindset of that song is like that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's
People do
interesting.
that, people do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Rick
I
said
know women who have been side pieces for 30 years. Like, come on.
Well, Rick says he thinks it's a cultural thing. How is it that other countries allow and accept men to have multiple wives, girlfriend, but the law of the U.S. only says only one wife? I think that depends on where you come from a scripture perspective. Um, but I also think that in those other countries, you can't have more wives than you are able to take care of.
Right.
And see,
Oh,
a
that's
lot
a
of
whole nother conversation. Because if you ain't taking care of home and then you trying to go pick up another side and another side, sir, have a seat.
Yeah,
Oh.
and they don't get to have multiple girlfriends because in those countries that you talking about, you marry those women. You go in, they supposed to be virgins, and when you go take them and they virgins, oh no, you marrying them or you dying. So it ain't no they
Mm.
have multiple girlfriends, they have multiple wives, and you have to prove that you're capable of taking care of and providing for those multiple wives. And a lot of dudes doggone do side have side chicks on the champagne budget have champagne side chicks with a bill budget. Can't do it. Can't do it. I got one wife. I had one wife for 22 years. I ain't had no side chicks. Um, one wife is enough. I ain't need more than one wife. I love you, babe. And it ain't got nothing to do with whatever, but it takes enough emotionally just to
I
be
love you too.
present for a wife. I'll be doggone if I'm gonna be able to be there for multiple wives. That ain't work. That ain't work for me.
And and I've never understood that from a man's standpoint that you all, especially I'm speaking from a woman, you all can barely handle the one woman you have
Mm.
emotionally and physically and just that whole protect and serve whatever. And then you go out and you get two and three other women.
I can't do it. I There might be dudes who do it.
Right. I was
Um,
thinking about that show. What is it? Sister Wives? And the guy have the five. And I was like, that's crazy. Where he has to like, on Monday it's this wife's night, Tuesday the other, Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? So they all had like a night. I was like, this is crazy.
That's it. That's
But
exhausting.
what is
I
he
mean,
really? But what is he really giving them besides right a short or a temporary emotional fix and sex?
that's what he giving them.
Because other than that, it's not. He can't give him whole self his whole self to her.
I, so I
Damon, let me say this. That's
go.
the biggest thing in side chicks. What's happening is everybody is getting pieces. Like nobody is
Mm-hmm.
getting a whole person. And that's really the biggest thing. That's what a trauma come about, is because you're only getting to get pieces of a man. The wife is only getting pieces of a man or a woman or a man and a man or whatever, however y'all, how whatever you do, right? But the
Mm-hmm.
whole
Right.
thing is that we supposed to come together as one whole, and merge as one. And you can't do any of that. Like, I don't even see how people walk into purpose with these little pieces.
Right.
Like, I
Wow.
like you just don't. You never get to the true fulfillment of what God has for marriages and what God has for families. If you're trying to dish, Tuesdays and Thursdays here, and then you're trying to be with your wife Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, and alternate on Sundays, like, man, I mean, that should be exhausting for whoever the person is. Like, to me, it shows that the person who is doing that shows their emptiness to me,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
because it's no way that you truly think that you're fulfilling anybody with that. You ain't fulfilling your wife. You can't truly be fulfilled. I mean, honey, child, yeah.
Yeah.
All them prayers blocked.
I would agree with you on there. And you said a key at that end is that you can't even be fulfilled. If it,
Right.
No,
I can't be fulfilled if I got, you know, two different even women trying to make me whole. There has to be a brokenness in me. But I will say something, and this goes back to your programming statement earlier. Women, y'all been programmed. It's better to have a piece of man than no man at all. That's
Right.
programming.
I agree. It has been some programming to a piece of man.
Yeah,
Right. Or you felt that you're not whole as a woman, as a person without even having a man. So that's where it starts.
right, right,
Right. And for
right,
men, I'm not sure, but we gotta realize, hey, individually we can be whole people and work on ourselves to be those whole people, so we can come together and be the best, to become the one person, or the one couple, or the one that God calls us to come together to serve the purpose as the one. But we can't. It's like Robin said, um, all these broken pieces trying to fulfill purpose and do things that ultimately we just can't do
yeah. I will say
until
that.
you realize it, and then you're mature enough to go, hey, what we've been doing is insane, and we can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. We're gonna always come up unfulfilled, short, or whatever it is. Temporarily in our mind we think, hey, oh, this might be fulfilling, or this is gonna make us happy, just in the moment, but we don't think about the long-term effect.
Right. I would say this, and I'm a be. I always like to keep it real, so I'm a strategist, and I think about it from a different perspective. Um, I don't have a desire to cheat. Right now, I've been married for 22 years, coming up on 23. That doesn't mean I hadn't been tempted. That don't mean I ain't been days I got in my emotions and thought that, felt like Tamika didn't appreciate me or validate me or whatever you want to call it. And somebody else was showing a level of respect or appreciation that I felt was missing. I'm not saying that the opportunity is there. I don't have that desire to cheat. But if that desire was there, those motivators for me as a man in conversations that I have with other men, it really, and I'm talking about men and not boys, right? I'm talking about guys who are striving to do the right things, guys who are trying to ring the bell, as it were, for their family, for their wife, or what have you. Is if I were going that way, it would be about, hey, sometimes we can take for granted or be, and again, I know this is true for women too. I'm speaking from a man's perspective. Sometimes we can be taken for granted in what we are trying to do. We are giving that effort. We are trying to move forward. And I'm gonna just throw something out there as far as for black men. Y'all can agree or disagree with me. There's even an extra burden on a black man who is doing well, seems to be a father, seems to be taking care of home, seems to be a hard worker, has a fairly decent reputation in the community, hasn't gone to prison or doesn't have jacked up this, that, and the other. That even more pressures out there where you have Isaiah 4 and 1. See, never mind, I ain't gonna take y'all to Isaiah 4 and 1. But you have Isaiah 4 and 1 happen where 7 women, yes, I am gonna take you there. Hold on. Turn to your Bibles in Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1, where it says, and in that day, 7 women will lay hold of one man and say, we have our own food, we have our own clothes, only give us thy name to take away our reproach. Now, that's the pastor speaking. Damon got a question. What type of situation has happened that 7 women stand at one man's door and they all knocking there and say, I ain't worried about these other 6 chicks, marry me? Right? So I think that and you have to go to Isaiah 3 to understand how you got there. But what I look at is I say, if I'm going to go that path, my motivator would be those things of feeling unappreciated, feeling like, hey, I'm trying my best for my family. I'm not perfect. I may not get it right or whatever. But the way I'm built, I just rather say, you know what? It's time to do something different. Hey, babe, right? Because that would go against who I am at my nature. And if I lose myself, then I have a bigger problem, right? But I talk to so many men who are in a situation where they feel, now I check them. I want you to get this. I talk to some men that say, well, man, my wife ain't doing this, my wife ain't doing that. I don't just let that slide. I go and say, well, what are you doing? Well, I go to work. We got a nice house. We got a car. We got this. That's the bare minimum.
Right.
If you didn't have her, you was gonna have to have a roof over your head. If you didn't have her, you was gonna have to have food in there. If you didn't have her, you was gonna have to have lights. If you didn't have her, am I right on all that? Well, yeah, that's the bare minimum. Now, what are you doing above that? In terms of being a husband, are you taking the time to feed her emotionally? Where are you at in leading the house? Because you know in the church, one of the popular scriptures is a woman should be silent in church and go and ask her husband at home, blah 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 blah. Well, that would imply that her husband need to be able to teach the word of God. Are you leading? Are you taking her to church or are you leading her to God? Which one? Tell me which one you're doing. So we have to do above the bare minimum. So the things that I've examined in myself in 22 years is before I blame Tamika, not saying I don't have the moments, but before I blame Tamika, I take the time to examine Damon. Am I doing my thing? And I think if a lot of us slowed down and were honestly, and once we get out our emotions, what's the saying, sis, you shared last week? Our feelings are real, our emotions are real, but they tell you a lie, or something like that.
Your feelings are real, but they don't tell you the truth.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
Feelings aren't facts.
yeah, so I'm just trying to get to that place of how do we help the side chicken, the side roosters to not get killed, because that's eventually
Get
what's going to start.
find your own man and find your own woman. That's all you got to do. It's
That's
just
all
that
you got to
simple.
do. So what do
That's
you
all
think?
you got.
And they tell me it's not simple. I mean, there's so many women out here going, it's not as simple or it's hard out here in these streets looking for a man. And I think there is the ratio is off. But I wanted to say this when Damon was saying that earlier. So just like you talk about women being programmed, it sounds like that men actually are programmed too. And I know this is kind of outdated way of thinking, but have they been modernized or have their thinking really changed or has it passed down from generation? Hey, if I'm bringing home a check or, paying for this or getting that, I don't have to do anything else. Why does she want me to communicate or talk or be present or spend time, emotionally and give this? I think a lot of times they misunderstand. Hey, we want the whole package of all of these things, and they've been taught that, oh, you can only, if you give this, you're good.
We,
you know
I will
and
say,
so then they tell you, oh, I'm giving you what I have, but I think it's a lack of not knowing. Hey, she wants more, so that's a breakdown in communication. Hey, is she communicating what the needs? And for him, does he communicate when they're complaining, when you say you have these conversations with the men, that my wife don't do this and this, or she, as much as I want, or these things, do they communicate that to her, or is that an excuse, or go, oh, she's just gonna continue to do this or do what she wants, and then I'm gonna go get the side chick or the rooster or whatever you want to call her.
I do think, and Alvin said it earlier. He said we as men have been told how to act, but never been held accountable for our actions. Then, if we sidestep, we know that it takes what it takes to bring things back to the safe and comfortable position, because we know the storm is only going to last a little while. I think that absolutely men, a lot of times we have not been um, we have been taught, but that can't be the excuse forever. I didn't have a good dad example with it. That can't be our excuse forever. That excuse is maybe valid in your 20s. And that is only valid in your 20s if there were no other good examples for you to have access to. And I'm not talking about TV examples. I'm talking about you didn't have any other good examples in your family, around you, people trying to steer you the right way, co-workers, whatever. If you had no other good examples, right? And everybody thinks their situation is special. You don't know my wife. You don't know my husband. Yeah, it ain't too many variations. It ain't too many variations. But I think that for men, particularly for black men, we have been taught. That's what I heard. Growing up, the more women you had, the more of a man you are. That's what I heard. I grew up in a matriarchal family, and I think that that deeply impacted how I see women, because I grew up mostly around women. I grew up in a matriarchal family. So I get it. I get it, but that can't be my excuse forever. But I mean, most young men, statistics even prove this, most young men first encounter with sex is through pornography, which degrades women and has a whole nother, teaches a completely different view about women. It objectifies women. Um, then when you get to your first piece or whatever, all you taught is how to get on, get off, right? And the pleasure and the thrill of that. You're not taught a lot of these other things about communicate. And then, hold on, especially in the black community, I think I'm safe right here. Um, y'all train boys how to be bad husbands. Mom, hush. You scraped your knee. Shut up. You're a boy. Don't be no sissy. And then dads, if they present, they reinforce that. So we told to hold our emotions in. We taught not to communicate. We're taught not to communicate. Men don't talk about their feelings, right? And so now you get around this. You've been taught by a woman not to talk. What do you do then?
Until you get to that side piece, and then your mouth just can't stop going.
Here go the thing. Here go the thing. The side chick. Oh, hold on. Cause I feel like this is what happens sometimes.
Oh,
The side chick actually asks questions. She asks questions. She asks questions. She probes. She's a master interviewer. And I think that she's free. Y'all hit on this earlier. She's free to, because she doesn't have all the drama to deal with. She
Right.
doesn't have the full life. So she
Right.
has time to study. When I talked about those messages, she and the rooster have time to study. So they become students of their target. They pick up when they're having a bad day. And they actually say something, or they do something thoughtful when they realize they have a bad day. Right? They bring, oh, I just think I know you like drink, or they call them early in the morning. Hey, don't pick up coffee. I'm gonna get coffee for you. They'll be waiting on you in the office. I hope you have a good day. They study,
shoot,
and I think,
I want one of them.
huh?
I said I want one of them.
That's what I.
There you
But he need no side chick, sis. No side chick
go.
for you. But I,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
but I'm saying this goes both ways. Side roosters and side chicks study. And I do think that over the life of either we enter relationships without really studying each other, or we
Mm-hmm.
continue in our relationships without studying each other.
That's good, bruh.
Right? We get our what most of us get is our diploma in our we get our spousal diploma. We don't further our education on our spouse.
Right.
And when we don't further our education on our spouse, there are some PhDs out there.
I know we turn into straight dropouts, man. Forget school.
Oh, that's what wives do and husbands do. They turn into dropouts.
Yeah, they do. They you just said
Mm-hmm.
it. They stop studying. Like you drop out of school.
Right.
Like man, because it becomes so much work. But the scary part of that, Deborah just said, like some side chicks don't want to be the main chick.
I agree.
Like
Right.
what what in the entire world is that?
That is my. I'll tell you something. One of my brothers. I'm gonna
I
liken this
told you
to.
what that issue is. Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead, babe. Go ahead, and I'm
No, I
gonna
was just
drop.
saying that issue is you are very broken. There is something definitely wrong there.
My
I,
my
I agree. I agree. I'm just saying I was just making that statement like a
Right.
rhetorical question. What
Right.
in the entire,
yeah.
Right. I get
Like,
it. Mm-hmm.
that is crazy.
My brother told me something about prison one time, and it was real interesting. He said, I was like, man, listening to stories about prison, I was like, I don't understand why you want to go back to prison. He said, man, he said, what you don't understand about prison is when you're in prison, if you're lazy, you have no responsibility for yourself. Somebody gonna feed you 3 meals a day. Somebody gonna tell you when to get up, when to go to sleep. They control your whole life, and you never have to make any decisions for yourself. Now bring that over to the side chick or the side rooster. You don't have any responsibility for yourself. They gonna tell you when they ready to play, when they ain't ready to play. I get to have this dedicated person that I can be intimate with both sexually and emotionally, but then I get to go out and play until they call me in again.
Mm.
I don't have to be responsible for my emotions. I think I think that some people are just emotionally lazy. They don't want it because it takes something to stay in a monogamous relationship. It takes
It
something.
sure do.
It
It
takes
sure
something.
do.
It's a level of sacrifice that it takes.
Right.
But these side chicks, they got their applaud game up, check. They got their PhD in your spouse, check. Um, they got a unlimited amount of time available,
Mm.
right? So when he want to go run with the guys, you at least know one guy that don't want to run. That's at your beck and call. When she want to go hang with the girls all the time, whatever, you got at least one woman who is saying, I will drop everything for you. I'm attend to you, right? You talking about you got you got guys that got polos and nice shoes and Jordan and stuff they can't even take home. You know who brought that for him? She see him wear them from time to time, but he can't take them home. Wife gonna start asking questions. He have to slide it in there a little bit at a time. Yeah, I went to the mall, picked up me a fresh polo. They don't even sell that polo at our mall. Where you got that at? No, you lying. That's that's the thing. That's the
I
thing.
got a
It's
question.
go far away. Give me that question.
So we talked about side chicks sexually.
Mm-hmm.
What about other side chicks? Like they call you the work husband and the work wife. Now, how much damage can it be, or one of those that friend of the opposite sex that gives you insight on your spouse? That's my first question. And two, do you see a place where if a woman spends a lot of time with a man, like a work wife, right? Can that work wife give some advice to the spouse?
Mm.
on how to deal with the man because she spent a lot of time with the man or the one man.
Okay.
Yeah. So go back to the first question. Give me the first one. See, you can't throw both of them together. What's that first one?
So is there anything wrong with the a side chick that doesn't have to, or rooster that doesn't, may not be any sexual connection going on?
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna give you three types of infidelity. There's like six categories of infidelity, but I'm gonna give you three. The three top.
Mhm.
Now I'm gonna ask you to tell me which one is the top one. Just to answer that first question. There's emotional
Em-
infidelity. There's sexual infidelity, right?
mhm.
And then there's and when I say sexual infidelity, meaning that sex occurred, there was some connection and sex occurred, and then there is recreational infidelity, meaning they ain't got no one person, they just which one do you think, which one of those do you think is the most difficult to recover from in a marriage?
Emotional.
Hmm. Emotional infidelity is the most difficult to recover from, and it is why men struggle to recover from infidelity when it comes to their spouse stepping out. Because, in general, men know that a man doesn't get between his wife's legs without having touched her heart. But a woman can look at a man and say that all he had to do is look at her heart and her panties fell off, right? He didn't have to put in, maybe didn't have to put in as much work, depending on the chick that he tapped, right? Now, the reason I bring that out, the reason I bring that out is even though that work wife is not sexually engaged with your spouse, if they are at a point where they can tell you how to emotionally connect with your spouse, or give you advice to connect with your spouse, then they are what your spouse is receiving from them is illegal. And although they may have not even thought of it in that way, they have connected on a level that is potentially illegal. Now, if you're talking about somebody that was childhood friends and they just known each other for their life, and so they know some
Mhm.
things that maybe you didn't know because they just grew up with them, right? That is a little bit different, but even that's dangerous. Even that's dangerous.
Yeah, I
So
think
you
it's
mean
a thin
my
line.
friends of my friends of 25 years is dangerous.
Can be.
I agree. I just
Can,
wanted to just repeat it.
yeah,
Right.
can be.
I was
We
gonna
don't
say,
have to say anything. Go ahead, sis.
because it's hard a lot of times when you say or people go, oh, you can't be friends with the opposite sex and this and that and the other. I think in some instances you can have really good grounded relationships, but you do have to set boundaries and be aware of what these relationships are, where they're going, because a lot of sometimes you do just want that opposite sex advice or opinion or something to feed off of. So, but I think it has to definitely be a healthy relationship, and then you have to set boundaries. When you start talking about the work wife and the work husband, there's a thin line there. And if that person is not setting boundaries about, what we can talk about, what we can't, what they're comfortable with, or feeling, hey, would I want my wife to have this conversation with with this person, and vice versa? Do I want my husband? Would I be comfortable with him having this conversation with another woman?
But see, here's the danger of it. And I agree that we are adults, we should be able to navigate those. But here's the danger. It's the repetitiveness that's the danger. So, say I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, yeah, you know, if I'm talking about, I'm not really sure what to get my wife for her birthday. What is the latest, whatever? Well, a female friend or something might say, well, what is your wife like? Well, these are the type of things that she like, or I don't know. Now, that female friend like, Damien, now you need to get yourself together. You don't know what your wife like? That's the first thing. That's a whole different level of things. But if I'm starting to talk to, um, talk to them, and I'm like, man, Tamika was on my nerves again today about this. I don't know how to talk to her. If I keep talking about getting advice, what seems to be harmless from the same woman over and over again, I never have to say anything negative about you. They will start to form their own opinion, and any barrier you thought was there
Mhm.
starts to disappear. Because the one thing you can never account for is the emotional state of the other
That's
person
true. That's true.
and where their relationships are. And they're sitting there looking at, oh, you got a good man. You got this, and it just seemed like, and I'm over here, I got garbage, Captain Garbage, and she got this good man, so he always asking me, maybe I need to start. And then all of a sudden, what went from, well, where they push back on you, and you can usually tell when the shift has happened when they stop pushing back on you, when they stop saying, well, what are you doing, Damon? Right? And stop pushing back and they start going in on her. Well, I think that Tamika's being unreasonable. Oh, we just shifted gears.
Mhm.
We just
Yeah,
shifted
and
gears.
I believe that that happens more. This, excuse me. I think this is all the more reason why people you need to safeguard your relationships because if you have really close friends of the opposite sex, and I think women are horrible about this. Women are so territorial that even as your friend, you know what I mean? They can become
Mhm.
side chicks.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, you got to be careful about who you're talking to about your spouse and like what is being said because I've just seen some situations where even just the friends are can be very toxic and there's nothing sexual going on. There's not a love emotion, but just that friendship. And women and men probably do this too, but you women can find themselves vying for a position like in that
Mhm.
man's life, especially when you
Mhm.
have a long-term friendship. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, yeah, and I've just seen that. Now I've always been friends with a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just so I really haven't seen that with guys as much as I see that with women. They almost start being in competition with the wife. It's like you the friend. Like
Right.
just settle down.
Right.
Mhm.
It's crazy
Right.
out here in the street. Wait,
Right.
somebody put, I'm not negotiating with my wife over my friends. Any pushback and she's no longer my wife. Simple.
Uh-uh.
I'm glad I ain't your wife. Uh,
No, that is, hey, everybody is fair and fine to do what they do, right? Hey, that's your life. But my friends, if my wife is being unreasonable about my friends, and I think that's what we do. We make these blanket statements a lot of the time without looking at what if your wife is telling you something that actually is good with regard to your friend, right? I
Mhm.
think that is something that is that should be considered and think about. Like, what is my wife actually saying? My wife might be saying something that is actually true. I need to examine it because every friend you have around you is not good for you. They're just not
Right.
good for you. Like, for example, I have friends that don't value marriage the same way I value marriage. They're still my friends, but I don't hang out with them like that because hey, if that's what you do, feel comfortable. I don't want you to feel like I'm judging you. Go do what you do. But number two, I also don't want whatever your character is to become synonymous with my character. Oh, if Damon always hanging around them and that's what they do, then Damon does it too. Or maybe, well, your wife is thinking, well, I know Damon, so if Damon around, this kind of stuff ain't happening. So now I can use Damon as my what's your the cloak. Uh-uh. I ain't
Mm.
participating in none of that. I'm good.
yeah, but you'll have friends that do that and cover up big time.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's just absolutely just disgusting. But hey,
Yeah. I in my but see, you know what? I've been in situations where my friends significant other thought I was covering. And they know I'm their biggest cheerleader. I'm like, hey, listen, don't do her like this. This a good girl. This a good woman. Blah 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 blah. But they just insisted. No, he helping cover for you, and they insist that because what I'm not gonna do is I'm like, man, I'd rather not be around you because if your wife asks, I'm not a good liar like that. So I'd rather not be around you while you're doing your dirt. But if I know, I'm also not going to just go out and blab that out because I know how that play out. I done told on my friend, you going to go blow up the house for a minute and then me and my friend ain't going to be friends ever again, but y'all going to be back together tomorrow. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
You need to go ask him about his business. Well, you must be saying something because you won't say nothing. Listen, I ain't saying nothing. You need to go ask him about his business. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. So yeah. So since you had some other questions, have we covered all your questions? Because I know you had some more.
I had tons of questions, but I mean, I know we done been on here for a while, so I
Yeah.
mean, I'll just take some of the ones. I'll just read them out. We ain't nobody got to answer them, but if y'all
Okay.
side chicks and like that, it's just something to consider.
Hold
One,
on. Before you ask your first
what?
question, I got a question. I got a
Okay,
question. I did have one that I wanted to finish this one because we started this the other night when you was out there popping off and tempting us. Um, um, people cheat because finish that sentence.
people cheat because they're lonely, because they're empty, because they're trifling, because they can, because they have options, because other people don't have standards,
Mm,
because they don't know how to communicate, because they built up walls. You want me to go on?
no, I, I think you covered them. I think you covered them.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's a
think,
lot
Uh,
of reasons.
honey, you want to add to that? Finish that sentence.
I think she covered. It's so many reasons that people cheat. You can't just say one, and a lot of times people see it as a blanket statement, or they be like, oh, when you think cheating, you think one reason, but there's so many different reasons
Okay.
why people cheat.
Okay. All right. Hit some of your questions, there,
And
sis.
all of those that Robin said.
so I just had a few questions. I put can we get everything from one person? Does a
Mm,
side chick have to involve a sexual relationship? Um, do you set out to be a side chick?
hold
And
on. Just
my side, oh,
hold on. Sam say
okay.
men cheat because y'all allowed and take us back time after time. What y'all think?
Mm.
I'm, I'm Sam. Hey Sam, you ain't lied because when you shut them Bama's off the first time and let them come back to you, but I see way too many times where the women are just so eager and anxious for that thing to work out that they won't even allow a work to be done in that man.
Right.
And when we accept them back, it's like, hey, man, what are we saying? It's okay for you to do it. I might kick and scream a little bit, throw a tantrum, cuss you out. Yeah, I'll be back.
Hmm. And they know that when you don't set again a boundary, or you are only coming back because of these conditions, you know what I'm saying, and you don't see it through or follow it through. um, Most men think in their mind, hey, if I do this, or we have a little sex, or if I buy her this or tell her this or whatever, because he knows what's emotionally broken you or whatever, that he can say to get you to be okay with this, because you're not a whole person. But when you're whole and you realize, hey, no, this can't keep happening, that insanity stuff again, you need to get therapy, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then if you don't follow through on these things, then one, you're telling me you don't respect me, you don't want the help, you don't want us to get better, you just want to keep doing what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't
Yeah,
do the work, then right, hey, if you're not willing to do the work, and that's the thing in the marriage relationship and all of it together, you've got to be willing to do the work, both parties or
Mm,
both people.
mm, Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Go ahead,
And
sis.
we've been programmed for that too.
Yeah, you got to be willing to do the work. Absolutely. But you know what? Before I go to my next question, I think that's what happens a lot is that people you struggle with the part about grace, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when and how much do you grace a person? Like, my goodness. The word says, what I put, Romans 5:20, and it talked about sin abound, but grace came into play. Like, when do you just keep using grace? Like, and I think sometimes the confusion of, man, I love my wife or my husband. Like, I want this to work. I'm in this for the long term. Like, I don't want to tear my family apart. And you go in it, you know what I'm saying, from a pure place of love, but really you ain't set no boundaries. And I mean, it's just whatever. Did he say y'all gonna forever cheat if you get taken back?
I'm gonna disagree with Sam on that, but I hear what he's saying. He said until we find the one. I think that when you cheat, when you see, here's the thing for me: when you cheat, you're telling me where your integrity is. And if you're a repeated cheater after someone has forgiven you, you really telling me where your integrity is, right? Can someone make an error in judgment? Absolutely. What you do on the other side of forgiveness tells me a lot. But it raises a question because you said grace. And I'm going to ask a
Mm-hmm.
question that might be controversial. It may not be. Does the church keeping people in bad relationships? Is the church empowering side chicks?
They sure are, because all the church tell you is to pray about it and to stay there, baby, and he gonna grow out of it or she gonna grow out of it, and you don't want these Jezebels to take over your husband.
Right. Agreeing again, like yeah, program. You were programmed that way to keep taking it, to letting them keep stay. I'm staying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? We got some new school. You know, the word said that the old women should teach the young women, and the mature men. Well, we got some new school mature women. Now, we ain't 60, 70, or 80, but some maturity says that when you've gone through some experiences, y'all better be listening. Like this live, y'all better be listening. Y'all should have took plenty nuggets, especially y'all younger people. And I don't mean young with a number. I mean young because you just may be immature. You understand?
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
real.
tell you, if that Bama cheat the first time, you need to leave.
I ain't gonna
Robin,
say
yeah,
that.
said
I
it.
ain't gonna say that. But
No, I
I do believe that there's some work. There has to be some. There
I'm
has to
just
be.
playing around. I'm just playing around. If both people willing to do the work, then it's
There you go.
okay.
right,
There you go. Come on, girl.
right.
I knew you had it in you. I knew you had it in you. I think that in Miss Gilliard said Pablo, she says they know and expect you to take them back every time. I'm sorry doesn't fix it after it's done over and over. And I agree 100% on
Now,
that.
that's what you need to be.
I would tell you this, and I if you ain't got your nuggets tonight, I'll tell you this. Women, y'all spend a lot guarding your garden, okay? Guarding your coochie, whatever. Y'all spend a lot of time guarding that. Y'all spend a lot of times guarding your heart. The one thing that a man really wants access to is your mind, because once he has your mind, there's nothing you can do to stop him from getting to your heart and your coochie. Y'all entertain a lot up here. This is where game starts at for men. It's up here. It's in the mind. Because wherever the body goes, the wherever the mind goes, the body gonna follow.
Yep.
And so y'all and listen, a lot of that gets done based off of image. And I ain't talking about, oh, they got nice car and nice shoes or whatever. I'm talking about they put out the ultimate representative and you didn't even realize you gave them the code to build the image. You gave them the code to
Yep.
build the image. So now when he comes spitting game, he really just giving you your words back to draw you in, and all of a sudden, you know what? oh, he get me like somebody else don't get me, and this and this and that. That's the crap.
That's the crap. Cause honey, if you on there talking about Lord Jesus, that's the crap, honey. Y'all listen, women. Stop giving up the brain.
That, that's the crap. All a man, and in this age, all a man got to do is follow your doggone social media long enough, and he know how to get in. That's the crap.
He, he know how to get in.
So, yeah, Anyway, all right. Go ahead. Say, Angela
So,
said she think we need
my
another.
last question, I think we pretty much I had two other questions. One is who perpetuates I put women are gatekeepers and we do the programming. Dads and men enforce standards. Do you all agree or disagree? That was my first question, my one of the question. My second one that I didn't address tonight was what if you're in an open marriage? Like what if the wife or the husband is aware of the side piece?
Girl,
Then what?
sis, now
Do
you
we
know it's about
all
enough time to hit that one.
play together? Like what we talking?
Sis,
I
that's a
mean, is
whole
that
nother
considered a
episode.
side piece?
That's a whole
No,
nother.
it's not at that
Oh,
point. And then if all parties agreeing on it, hey, I mean that doesn't work for me. But I don't know if you call it a side piece at that point. If you know about it and you're willingly saying, "Hey, we're gonna be open and we're gonna do this, that, and the other." What did Shirley say? Because some women think they can change a man and we can't. She has to want to change. What did
Yeah,
want to change not for you but for themselves.
right. I yeah. I I
So
think
true.
that see the open marriage is a whole nother discussion. Um,
well,
I wish.
most people who have side chicks and side roosters, I'm gonna speak from women. Most women know when they man got a side, when their husband or their significant, exclusive, committed relationship person has another woman. So literally, when you do know that, automatically you already in an open relationship. You might not call it that, but if you knew your man is seeing somebody else and you still sleep with him and do everything else, that's an open relationship at the end of the day.
See,
Mm.
men don't like sharing, and I can tell you
No,
this.
yeah, men don't, but I'm saying,
Yeah, no,
you
you right. I Somebody asked a question earlier. They had said something about this, and I didn't get a chance to say something about it. Is for men, a man that will leave his wife for the side chick is not going to stay with the side chick because his mindset is, and I've heard men say this. I ain't just making it up. If she was willing to violate my vows, she'll be willing to violate our vows. So I need to go find somebody else.
Mm.
She was just the exit. She was just the reason for him to get out. So he already got an opinion of her, but he got a selfish opinion because she meeting a need. But when he finally gets that gets put out or leaves, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother ball game in itself. And I just think that we have to sit back and really start to think about. Um, I saw that comment like 2 or 3 times. Men can dish it out, but can't take it. Here's the thing. Now, a man who cheats and then his wife cheat, I've seen some brothers go ballistic. But what about the man that didn't cheat? He ain't responsible for everybody's sin. Why he got to go through that, right? So, whole other topic. Since you asked the question, you say the women are the gatekeepers and the men are the enforcers. I want to understand what you're trying to get at there. What When you're saying that the women are the gatekeepers, what do you mean by that?
I mean that in a household, usually the woman sets a tone to, what the standards are. The women usually introduce different things, to the children.
Mm.
And women and children come to women for I just think that the woman voice goes a very long way, is what I'm saying. And by the time the man comes in the picture, I think that the man just really, he's a reinforcer. He gives, direction. He pushes forward. You know what I'm saying? He gives advice. He reinforces. But I think that woman really sets the tone of the house.
I think that's how it plays out. I don't think that's how it's supposed to be.
No, I didn't say that's how it's
No,
supposed to
no, no,
be.
no. That's what
Right.
I'm saying. I think that's how it plays out. I don't think that's how it's necessarily supposed to be. However, I think that women sometimes are careless. This is whether you're the side chick or the wife, with the amount of responsibility and amount of responsibility given to her by God for her ability to influence men. Right? So I can see where you come from on that because it plays out that way. So according to the word, I can't find anywhere in the scripture. And if I got some Bible scholars out there that can point me wrong, point me to a scripture on this, please do share. But I can't find anywhere in the scripture. There's two things that I find unique in the scripture. Well, many things, but as it relates to relationship, God never warns a woman about the type of man she necessarily marries. But he does warn men about the type of woman he marries, and he says why. He says, because this woman will have the ability to turn your heart away from me. That speaks to the power of influence that God has given to women.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking to Solomon, and he said, listen, if you marry these other women, it ain't that they bad women. It's just that they don't serve me. And I know the power that I gave women to influence men. And they will turn their heart away from me. And sure enough, that's what happened. Okay. Also in the word is it comes back, one of those unique things. It says, husbands, there's nowhere in the Bible where this goes in the reverse. Dwell with your wives according to knowledge. That means I have to know her. And if I have to know her, that means I have to study her. So men are major dropouts when it comes to studying our women after we get them. We have a master's during dating, and then our diploma or our eighth grade education might show up after we get married.
Yeah, then y'all get a GED.
Not the GED.
We couldn't
They
even
don't even
finish
get
the
no
full
they
nine
don't even get
classes.
no GED test. And they stop at
Mm.
learning in the eighth grade.
Well, that's kind of
But
true.
but but here go the thing. Here go the thing. Eighth grade was good enough to get you and trap you with a child. Now what that say? Where did y'all education stop at?
That's because when you got us, we were still in the eighth grade. But as we start to grow and mature, you have to grow and mature and expand your reach so that you can cover us in during that period. And most men feathers stop right here. They don't do this.
But y'all
They,
taught it.
they stop right here.
Hold on, I'm gonna ask you because both of y'all are mothers. Your girl, I can't hear nothing you saying. Oh Lord, I'm gonna ask this question because both of y'all are mothers of sons. Are you raising a son that you would marry? What I mean by that, think about what you expect out of a husband, and are you raising a son that you would marry? Because I would submit to you, a lot of mothers don't raise a son that they would marry.
I agree. What I would say
I'm trying.
is my son
Mhm.
has potential.
But is it potential in motion? I'm gonna steal from Tamika. Tamika always say, "Don't marry potential, marry potential
I
in
know
motion."
that's right. That's what my mama said. If it ain't got kinetic energy, baby, run. But
Run.
what I run fast, right? But what I realize is there's some qualities. Now, did I mess up with some things and being a gatekeeper when the man should have been the gatekeeper? Absolutely. But what I also know is there's some qualities there that cannot be produced that my son has. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And those are, he's extremely attentive, he's compassionate, he's caring. Like those things, you know what I mean? You can't birth in a person. So would
Right.
I marry him? Absolutely, I would. I mean, he just got to grow up some, but he
Whoop,
has the qualities
whoop,
I would want in a man.
whoop. You just said something. You just said
He's
something.
23. He's
Oh,
23. I wouldn't marry him at 23.
okay, okay. Because I'm saying that because I think that's what ends up happening. And somebody, one of the ladies said it earlier. Women marry and y'all feel because of the nurturer, y'all marry and feel you can pull it out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And just because it's there doesn't mean it can be activated.
And that's why I always say, just because, and a lot of people, oh, he's a good guy, he's a good man. That's a good man, girl. That's a good man. No, will he be a good husband? Is this a good husband? And you have to have those qualities or that mentality or have been taught. And so when you ask me for me, as a mom on my side of what I can give him, I'm constantly telling him when situations or scenarios or things come up, hey, this would make you a good husband, or these are the things you need to know, or little tidbits and whatever. Granted, he's 14, hopefully he remembers them, but as we go along, I'm sharing those nuggets and those things from a point of view or how we see it as women, a lot of things. And so for you, I know there are some things that I can't do that you do, or need to instill in him. But for me, it's the things that I know are important, and that for me, if per se, and this is not to throw you under the bus or be transparent. If there's something I feel like maybe there was a little lack, or I wish you would have got a little sooner, or didn't know, whatever, I want to give him that nugget now, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or tell him, because I want him to have a better marriage, or start off in a different place, or for him to have that foundation to know of things that we necessarily didn't know, and not
Mm-hmm.
just you, me too. So
Mm-hmm.
for my daughter, I do the same thing.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, I would say for when you come from a blended family, and I'm so ready to do this blended family talk, but when you come from a blended family and you have struggles in your marriage, children see different things at different times, right?
Right.
So what my
Mm-hmm.
23-year-old saw is different from what my 12-year-old sees. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's very inconsistent, and you'll almost think that none of them grew up in the same house together. Like, so it's hard to say, when I'm talking about my 23-year-old or my 20-year-old, I was different as a mother with them. Like, forget the marriage,
Right.
I was different as a mother than I am with the 16-year-old and the 12-year-old. So the marriage was different. The parenting was different. The mothering is different. The fathering is different. So that's hard to. It's really hard to say because children reenact what they see and not what they hear.
Mm-hmm.
So I could
Mm-hmm.
be telling them all types of stuff, and it's like, man, I mean, y'all was living like some straight Bama's when I was 12, you know. So versus
Right. I get it.
20-year-old when she was 12, it's like, man, boy, y'all was on point. So it's just so much that that's a hard thing to really answer. But for my
Mm-hmm.
23-year-old, I would absolutely marry him after he becomes more mature.
Right. And that's
Jabbar, your mama would marry you, boo. I love you.
after you become more mature.
Oh,
Ain't that so? But that's but
it's
that is
sweet.
that is something that is important, right? Because teaching that woman who might date your son, teaching that woman who might date your son how or when he's ready to actually come forth. Because if she get him before he's mature, she gonna hate him,
Mm.
and she going to potentially damage him because she might not have what it takes to hang through his growth. However, that and I think that's what we gotta teach young men and young women at the end of the day is recognizing that that potential in motion, not just that potential that sitting water. and seeing
Right.
and getting the idea of where this person wants to go, what they're doing, how they're going, right? Because a lot of times, um, I think that we just completely miss that. We don't we tell our children, like you said, Tamika, about the good man. Yeah, I know a lot of dudes who are absolute whores, but they are good dudes. They'll give you the food off the shirt off their back. If you hungry, they're gonna feed you, whatever. They are good dudes. But when it comes to relationships, they're not good husbands. Or and not and many of them are not married. They're not gonna be good husbands because it's just they like whoring. That's their thing, right? And
Mhm.
so this has been such a great conversation. We done went another 2 hours
Oh
again.
no.
And Lord have mercy. I'm ready to do one of these face to face. I need some people in the room to really get in on this because I want to talk about family secrets, but I want to see what people want to talk about next. And
Mhm.
I want to ask this final question, kind of closing us out. We appreciate everyone who has stayed on here with us the entire 2 hours. We appreciate you. Much love. I have this simple question: what can we do? Hold on, Robin. You give me both of your answers. Andrea says she invite me, please. Is she here locally?
Yes.
Okay, we got you. We got you. I want to do this
Yeah.
face to face,
And
but
Angela said, I think we need a second round on this good teaching.
a second round. I think there is more to it because I don't even think we got into some of the old school, the trauma that has gotten us to the point where the side chick even had a rise. But here's a closeout question I want to answer. What can we do, if anything, to help the side chick and the side rooster who wants to do something different than what they're doing today? What is there anything we can do to help them break their own cycle of living on the edge?
I
Robin.
think so. I said it earlier.
Uh
Hey,
huh.
we need to come deal with, this these broken pieces. Why aren't you whole enough to know and understand who you are, value yourself, um, all of that. I think so. I think there's hope.
Yeah.
For some, I can't say everybody because it depends on, you have to be willing and wanting to, and then at the end of the day acknowledge that, hey, there is really something wrong, and I wasn't either raised this way, or why do I think a piece of man is better than no man, or for me to be temporarily fulfilled is okay or worth it.
I, I'm trying. I'm trying to figure out how we can start a SPA, a spa, and I don't know if it's I don't know if the video is catching up or what, honey.
Yeah, it's
Okay. I don't.
slow.
I don't. We need to start a spa, and by spa I mean Side Piece Anonymous, uh, to help these people get detox from other people, um, to help these people get detox from other people. Uh, but see now that just
I
sparked. What? I'm
I
gonna
have
get
a
your
thing that they could do.
what?
Let's do wife swap. So for all of you side pieces, won't you come and stand in the shoes
Oh, that wife.
of that wife or that husband? Please, in full reality. I'm sorry. All right.
Sit. Hold on. I don't know that. Go sit down if you dare and talk to that husband and wife and understand the realities about what you about to get as I leave. Right. Uh.
Then they'll change that song. I can love you better than she can. They'll be like, mm-mm. Or I can love you better than he can. Mm-mm.
I'm serious. I think that you know what? I wish people could be that open because I just okay. I got to say this before we go. All right. I just want to give a small scenario. Before I was married, all right. So run and tell that. So before I was married, I dated a guy, and this guy told me straight off before he Like he was in a relationship. He said, "But I like you, but I'm in a relationship. But if you choose to, I give you the option." So I'm not saying that side chicks is a good thing. I'm not condoning it. I'm not promoting it. But I would just say, man, if some people can truly come to the table and be honest, bring the side chick too. Like, and really just talk about like what this is, because the seriousness of is that this just doesn't it's not a snapshot in time. You know what I mean? Especially when you start having outside children, because then those children grow up broken automatically. So they're already fighting for what their worth is, what their value is, and then it's a comparison of, you guys got something that we didn't get. You got daddy or you got mama. And so, I mean, that trauma runs so deep. Then you got the
Mhm.
children in the house upset. It breaks up families so very deep.
Oh, and
Like I'm telling I'm a poster child for it. Like I come from that, and I'm just glad that our family was able to remain intact. You know what I'm saying? Only because that's a whole nother conversation, but only because of, you know what I mean, the strength of those people that were involved. But side chicks, come to the table. Like, that's all I'm saying. If you really want to have a real conversation, let some of these side chicks and side roosters come to the table and let's have a real conversation. No bashing, no judging, no nothing. We might can come up with a schedule on how we can all work this thing out.
no, we can't. No, we
I'm
can't.
just playing.
No, we can't.
Not a
No, we can't.
schedule.
And I would tell you on the real though, that whole
I'm just
side,
playing.
cause Deborah brought it up. She said, "I'm a side child." That child, some of the children never get to meet their daddy, or they don't find out
Mhm.
to daddy funeral that that was really your daddy.
Mhm.
And that type of stuff right there really, really damages children because why, like you said, why wasn't I good enough? Why wasn't
Mhm.
I good enough to be his choice? Why wasn't I good enough to be a part of the family? At least acknowledge me and who I am and this, that, and the other. Why wasn't I? And I think that that is so important because that gets missed a lot. And I think that that pain happens right now. There are children out there who don't know who their daddy is, and it ain't because they don't know that mama don't know who daddy is, but mama revealing who daddy is gonna tear some stuff up that mama would promise not to tell,
All right.
not to tell.
And that's what I'm
I'm.
saying. Like, I mean, goodness, can we just be honest about this and have a real conversation? I mean,
Mhm.
seriously. I mean, like, for real. I'm serious.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right.
I'm with
And I know someone.
Everybody want to hide and be ashamed and hide behind shame. Like, forget about it. The side chick shouldn't be ashamed. The wife shouldn't be ashamed. The rooster shouldn't be ashamed. The husband shouldn't be ashamed. If you adult enough to do what you're doing, you should be able to come to the table. But now that's a little too mature for most people, probably 99.9%. But for that 0.001% that's out there, can you join us at the table?
you.
Mm.
Go ahead, honey. Cause
No, I was just gonna say, and then you have some because you were talking about um the side child that knew growing up or was told this is the situation, so they're one of the I mean the parent was honest with them, but because of this and because of my of what I did, you aren't able to have this relationship, with your father, or if you wanted that, and there was an apology. Is there still some issues or a sense of brokenness there from that? Of course. But they were straight up and they were honest. Hey, I did this, you know, something I shouldn't have. So they held themselves accountable for it. And at the same time, because of this, you can't have this relationship with your dad, either not right now or until you become a grown up or until he says it's okay to, for us to get together or reach out or this and that and the other. So,
I'm gonna close
And I
with this.
and I just oh wait, let me just say
Go
this
ahead.
last
Go ahead.
thing,
Go ahead.
bro.
Uh huh.
It also for women too. This is what I don't understand. But when you are a side chick and you have children, and then you're bringing man, exposing that man to your children. Mm-mm. And then when that man is gone, then what? So you've made a part-time relationship, you know what I'm saying, with a man that can't be full-time in your children's life, especially single mothers. I mean, man, come on now. All right, I'm gonna let you close. I'm gonna let you close.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a
So
lot.
I again appreciate everyone that stayed on with us the whole 2 hours. We said we were gonna cut this down, but the conversation is flowing. It's definitely going to be. We're gonna have to do a relationship summit and bring this thing live, what have you, in person. That's in the works, and we definitely, when COVID clears up just a little bit more, Marriage Refresh is looking to do a marriage retreat. We're already spotting out some stuff. Probably be when it's a little cooler and the prices are more reasonable. Help everybody out on that front. But I want to close actually with a scripture, Proverbs 6. I'm on my Proverbs 31 for 31. So it's 31 days in this month, and therefore I'm reading. So we on chapter 6 because today is chapter 6, and this is one of those scriptures that I come across randomly some years ago. It says Proverbs 6:32. Whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks understanding. He who does so destroys his own soul. Wounds and dishonor he will get, and his reproach will not be wiped away. For jealousy is a husband's fury. Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will accept no recompense, nor will he be appeased, though you give him many gifts. Hey, you out there living that side chick, side rooster life, it is dangerous. It is dangerous. In the ways things are escalating in the world today, in Texas, they have a heat of the moment law. You get caught with your side piece if you want to. If they kill you, they walk free. They walk free because it's the heat of the moment. They found it out. It is dangerous, but it's more than just dangerous for your physical body. It's dangerous for your very soul. So, until the next time, we're going to figure out what that next topic is. And really appreciate y'all for hanging in there with us, being with us last week and this upcoming week. We don't know what we're going to talk about next. I don't know. It might be that blended family thing. We got to figure this out. But until the next time, thank you so much, sis. Thank you. You always bring it. I think you was a little mild
Yes.
tonight. I think he was a little mild tonight. So um, I got Robin. I didn't get Ratchet Robin. So I'm nah. You my sis. You always keep it real, and I appreciate
Well, you know I really want to let loose, but when we get in person,
it.
just just take the chains off. All right.
It can. We have to have security if we're gonna be talking about side chicks. But until the next time, we appreciate y'all. Thank you, honey,
Yes.
for joining us all the way from Detroit, and we gonna do this
My
again.
pleasure.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
All
Good
right. Good night.
night.